Hello, hello, hello. I am Matt Williamson. What is going on? Welcome to the podcast. Spread the word. We got 2 days of OTAs in the books. Today, Wednesday, it was cold and raining a lot, to be honest with you. And they practice outside. I mean, there's more room. I think Tomlin wanted to toughen them up. I mean, I'm not sure how much you're toughening them up with 1 day of OTA practices in May, but it was cold and wet and, you know, not a lot of fun to be out there on the air, to be honest with you. But today's mailbag day, as usual, tons of questions, good stuff. Bruce asks, assuming Arthur Smith returns next season and doesn't take another head coaching job, I don't think that's in the cards. He would have to blow the doors off. You'd have to have a top 5 type offense. Do you think we draft a tight end high, assuming Pat doesn't take a step forward? Sure, QB play hasn't been great, but he's a big fish in a shallow pond. With how tight end centric Smith's system is, you'd hope for more, right? I see what you're saying. I do. And I actually just tweeted this out yesterday. It doesn't really paint this situation in a great light either. Here's what I wrote in the tweet was Pat Freiermuth is yet to average 4 receptions per game through 4 NFL seasons. Last year, he was targeted on 17.5% of his routes, ranked 28th amongst all tight ends with 100 or more routes. It's not enough. Now, many people, and I think that's what you're asking to some degree too, is that on Freiermuth? Is that on Wilson Fields not throwing in the middle of the field? Is it on coaching? And my answer was all the above. I think Arthur Smith's usage of Freiermuth has been odd. There's been a lot of instances when he's not on the field when they have 2 tight ends. I don't love that. I would love to see Freiermuth and Washington be in there basically all the time. There has been some injuries. I think that in some ways, he's not, well, in all ways, he's not a special talent. He's not a great blocker, but that's not uncommon for every down tight ends in today's NFL. I mean, there's no Mark Bavaros out there anymore. He's not super fast. He's not tremendous after the catch. He's not super twitchy. He's not super physical tackle breaker. But I think he's good. I mean, I think signing him was a smart move. I think getting him more involved this year is absolutely a smart move. And more middle of the field passing, I absolutely think is in the cards, both coaching and new quarterback related. I don't have a great answer for this, though. You know, I mean, I don't know that you're looking for his replacement in the offseason. You do want a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets, and I think Washington is a really hard guy to play against. So I think he's going to be one of them. I think Freiermuth's going to be one of them. I don't know that you need George Kittle or Travis Kelce there, but would you turn your nose up at an upgrade in the second round with a guy that has a lot of upside at tight end? Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't think you'd be actively in the free agent market for a tight end or trying to trade for a guy that's better than Freiermuth. I'm not sure that's where I'm using my resources, but they do have a lot of offseason resources. And to me, if you can upgrade, put them all out there. You know, I mean, imagine if he was your second tight end, what a good position that would be. But to be honest with you, deep down, I expect him to take a step forward this year. I think his production, his impact on the game should start trending up. And I think he's only 26 years old. There's been some really good studies out there that, unlike other positions, tight ends in the NFL don't hit their peak, their stride, their prime until age 27, which isn't surprising. You know, it's a really hard position. Rookies don't do particularly well. You know, like receivers and running backs are much younger than that. Most positions are much younger than that. So there's a lot of tight ends, you know, Heath Miller, I mean, that go from age 27 to 33 and are still highly productive. So I'm not ready to write close the book on him yet. I do think it's an absolutely pivotal year for Freiermuth, but I'm kind of betting on him as well. And I think usage in quarterback and coaching might start to be his friend more so than it has been in previous years. I frankly kind of hated how Matt Canada used him too, by the way. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA to NHL playoffs to MLB to UFC and boxing, BetOnline is you covered for all your online wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. Isaiah Peterson asks, you have said in the past about next year going to get the QB of the future with the extra draft capital. If the Steelers are picking in the same spot next year, 21-ish, what would be required to move up to number 1 if they found what they thought was the guy? I think you're looking at it a little bit wrong, and it's a great question. 2 notes here before we get started. Yes, they have 2 extra thirds, an extra 4th, an extra 5th, an extra 6th. Great. Extra 6 doesn't get you anywhere in the first round. An extra 5th doesn't get you anywhere in the sixth in those rounds. But it does help you fill your needs and find a left guard, with your extra 4th round pick, and assuming that your first is dedicated to a quarterback. Now, the other thing I think you're a little off basis too is getting from 21 to 1 is nearly impossible too. But I've been doing more and more quarterback homework, and we'll have a conversation about that. It obviously very subject to change, but it does look like there could be 4 or 5 first-round type guys. Last year there was 6. Josh Allen was the 7th or 8th pick in the draft. Mahomes was 11. I think that's the target area, is get from 21, say somewhere from 18 to 22, up to 8. Up to 12, that how many teams out there will be really quarterback needy. And the team, if assuming it's 1 and there's a great quarterback prospect, probably won't trade off it anyway. Cam Ward this year, the Titans weren't fielding offers to move from 1. But I think if you get the 2nd or 3rd quarterback in the draft, the Drake May, the J.J. McCarthy, Josh Allen, Mahomes, those guys weren't the first ones taken, is more likely to be the case in what looks like a draft that's pretty rich at the position as we stand here at the end of May without that season being played. And I'm assuming basically next year's first, your first the following year, and something else, maybe one of those thirds, gets you from 21 to 7 or 8. I don't think that's crazy talk. Naz asks, are you surprised how much cap space the Steelers still have left? Besides TJ Watt, who would you extend this offseason? I definitely would extend Watt, and that's going to happen. I would consider, I'm a big fan of some of these guys that were drafted either really late or undrafted free agents that frankly have not made much money by NFL standards. And I'm talking about Warren. He's making money this year, but this is really the first year that he's making a NFL-style contract. What if you threw 1 more year on his deal and gave him $6 million or something more, which means a lot more to him than it does to TJ Watt or Patrick Mahomes? You know what I mean? They don't have as much money in the bank. So that's one I would consider. And the other one I think comes to mind is Elliott. He was a very successful signing. He's up at the end of the year. I'd love to add 2 more years to his deal too and just keep him around. You do have the money. I wouldn't say I'm shocked by the amount of cap space they have left. And back to the Isaiah Peterson question too, I could see next off season with the intent of our early picks are going to go towards a quarterback in some way, shape, or form, that we might have to go buy a receiver or a left guard or a corner on the open market. And we're going to and then supplement our other needs with all those other 3rd through 6th round picks. So remember, Rodgers is going to eat up some of it. Watt's going to eat up some of it. And it rolls over. And I don't know where else you would spend huge money. So I'm a little shocked they still have as much cap space as they do. But I also think there's big plans for it. Maybe not today, tomorrow. The other thing they can do, Naz, which I think you're aware of, is they could make a much better version of the Allen Robinson trade. Okay, here's an expensive dude that we'll trade you a 6th or 7th round pick for to get him off your books, but we can afford him. And like I said, a better player than Allen Robinson, but that type of trade. Joey Bag of Donuts. Let's say Broderick Jones doesn't improve. Then what? Well, this is a pivotal time for him too, because a year from now, you have to figure out the 5th-year option or not. Hopefully, he improves enough that you pick up the 5th-year option. Now, he won't be a multiple Pro Bowler, so it won't be the highest tier 5th-year option. But if he doesn't improve and you decide, I can't invest in this guy, you really only get him for one more year after this. Then that's a problem. Now, again, you might be in the first-round tackle market again. And maybe you don't have a first-rounder because you used it, a future pick, to go get a quarterback. And you definitely don't want to be in the open market. Now, it didn't set up this way, and I don't think they made an error. But I would have loved a 3rd-round Charles Grant out of William and Mary. I mean, there's Belton or lots of options there. A 3rd-round tackle. Then maybe he's a guard that could be the Ciamali replacement. He's your 3rd tackle for the meantime. That would be, I think this offensive line's missing that guy. The 3rd-round rookie that's 6'6", 320. Maybe he's a tackle. He's an insurance policy. He could end up being a really good guard because that spot's going to open. And you just can't have everything. I mean, you wouldn't have Johnson in the 3rd round or Metcalf in the 2nd round if you did that. And those offensive linemen went really quick. But that's the cost of doing business, But I would imagine with all the picks they have, I'll be shocked if they don't draft that guy I just described next year in the 3rd round or 2nd round or something like that. Sick ass. Give me your perspective on Spencer Anderson. What quality of player is he? Quality backup or potential starter? What does our season look like if Ciamali or McCormick gets injured early on and Spencer Anderson has to step in indefinitely? I lean towards quality backup, smart, versatile, could play tackle in a pinch, but more of a interior backup across the board. I think he's better than BJ Finney. So a quality 6th man, but not quite Strelzik level, like somebody like that. Depth on the O-line overall worries me. Back to that Broderick Jones question is, let's say Ciamali continues to decline at his age and McCormick gets hurt and both your guards are below the line. Now, I think Frazier's going to be a star. And I know this isn't what you asked, but the more I'm around these last couple days, I think they think Troy Fautanu is going to be a star. And the little I've just watched him without pads on and stuff like that, too, it's like, oh, man, he's got a chance to be really good. If one other guy, McCormick or Jones, could be a high-end starter, not a Pro Bowler, you can deal with one okay average Spencer Anderson type. But again, I don't love the depth here. I don't want any of those guys to play a ton of snaps. I like Spencer Anderson. He's the type of guy, too, that when his contract's up, might sign him to a 2-year deal. I think he's valuable. I don't think he embarrasses himself out there. But you want him, no matter when he's called upon, to basically be your weakest lineman on the field at any point. I guess that's my best way of summing it up, I guess. Lastly, a really important question here from Michael Odesso. I think the most important question we all have today is, what's the soup this week at the cafeteria? Well, that's a big deal. The Super Sealer soup, that's my thing. Yesterday, Tuesday, I went for the lasagna soup. Now, that sounds kind of weird, but it's a red soup with like big chunks of the lasagna noodles, lots of beef in it, Really tasty, all kinds of, herbs and seasoning. But the best part about it is you ladle it out. It's all hot. And right next to the soup bin is like a ice cream scooper of ricotta cheese. You just dump right on top, right on the hot soup, and it melts all through it. It's wonderful. That was delish. And then the other one was old school beef chili today. I never pass it up. Boom. You throw the onions and the cheese right on top. Phenomenal. And soups are a 2-day thing there. So the chili showed up today. So that means it'll be around tomorrow, and then it goes. It lasts like 2 days. So I will probably double down on the chili. Can't go wrong. Pretty basic, but it was great stuff. Thanks for asking, as you all should. Super Sealer soup. It's great stuff. All right, everyone. That is a wrap for Mailbag. Tomorrow will be my last podcast of the week. Can kind of recap OTAs. I have some other ideas to sprinkle in as well. I've been messing with PFF's Ultimate. They have all kinds of really advanced stuff that I was going to fiddle with too here over the next 24 hours. I'm sure I'll find a nugget for us to chat about. All right, take care.